Hello guys. So now what we shall do is that we shall see the internal structures of the cerebral hemispheres, the cerebellum as well as the brainstem. Now before we discuss the internal structures, first of all we will discuss what kind of matter is located within the nervous system. For example, you know two types of matter, one is called as a grey matter, another one is called as the white matter. So in the cerebral hemispheres, what do we have in the center? Do we have grey matter or do we have white matter? What do we have in the cortical region? In the same way, in spinal cord, in the brainstem, in the which includes pons and medulla and midbrain, and even in case of cerebellum also, what is the matter that is located in the cortex, in the cortical region, and what is the matter that is located in the center? So these things we shall discuss right now. Okay. So what we shall do is that we shall discuss completely the basics here. So the first important thing which you need to know over here is that so this is your cerebral hemisphere. After that, this is your midbrain over here, and here is your pons, right? So this would be your pons, and next this is your medulla oblongata, which is continuing down as your spinal cord, right? So what we shall do is that we shall see what is the structure. I mean, this part which I'm drawing right now is a cortex. Okay, this is the cortical area, and this part in the center. This part in the center here, we will see what kind of matter is located in the center and what kind of matter is located in the cortical region. In the same way, it goes even with the pons, even midbrain, even with the pons, even with the medulla oblongata, also like this. Okay, so what are the structures that are located here? First, we shall start discussing about the cerebrum. First, then we shall start discussing about the posterior part. What is this? The posterior part is your cerebellum. Then we shall collectively discuss about this in the third region, and finally we'll discuss about your spinal cord. Okay, so first we shall discuss about the cerebrum. So when it comes to the cerebrum, cerebrum has got two important parts. So what are the two important parts within the cerebrum? We have got something called as gray matter, we have got something called as white matter. We have got something called as gray matter, and we have got something called as white matter. Okay, so there are two important things, one is called as gray matter, another one is called as white matter. So where is this gray matter located, where is this white matter located? So all of you just look at this picture. This is your cerebral hemisphere, right? Now in this cut section of cerebral hemisphere, see this outer part, whatever I'm drawing right now with the lines like this pink color line, this is your cerebral cortex. Okay, so what is this part over here called as? This part is called as your cerebral cortex. Cerebral cortex. Where is cerebral cortex present? It is present outside. So cerebral cortex is present outside, and this cerebral cortex is having what? This cerebral cortex is having your gray matter. This cerebral cortex is having your gray matter. Next important thing, this part which you can see in the center, this is called as what? White matter. This is called as your white matter. And where is white matter located? White matter is located inside. White matter is located inside. So in the cerebrum, where is the gray matter located? Gray matter is located outside. Gray matter is located outside, and white matter is located inside. Okay, so where is the gray matter located? Gray matter is located outside and white matter is located inside. Now, is this the only thing that is enough to know? No. So what is actually gray matter consisting of, we will discuss, and then we will discuss what is actually the white matter is also consisting of. Okay, so first we will discuss what is the gray matter consisting of. Okay, so after this, next we will discuss what is the white matter consisting of. So first, and then I'll draw the pictures also. So first important thing you need to know is that gray matter consists of cell bodies. So just write it down as I'm writing here, passively just write it down. I will draw each and every picture and I will explain you in detail in a minute. So gray matter is consisting of cell bodies. Second important thing, gray matter is also consisting of neurites. Neurites are also called as dendrites. Dendrites, or the other name is neurites, or the other name that is given is process. processes. Okay, processes, dendritic process. Okay, next, the third important thing. What is the third important thing? Gray matter even consists of the initial part of the axon. It consists of the initial part of your axons. So these are the structures that are present within your gray matter. Now, apart from this, are there any other structures? So these three are the parts of a neuron. These three are the parts of a neuron. Cell body is a part of a neuron. Dendrites are the part of a neuron, and initial part of the axon, whatever it is, axon is a part of a neuron. So apart from this, is there any other structure that is located? Yes. Apart from this, the next important structure that is located is your glial cells. All of you have heard of this, glial cells. Apart from the glial cells, the next important thing is blood vessels. Blood vessels. So these are the structures that are located within your gray matter. Now, next important thing is when you discuss about the white matter. So let us see what are the structures that are located within this white matter. Now, the first important structure which you see, where is the white matter located? White matter is located in the center. So white matter is consisting of what? White matter is consisting of the axon, which you also call it as a nerve fiber. Axon, which you also called as a nerve fiber. The initial part of the axon is located in the gray matter. Down as you go deep inside, the remaining part of the axon is located. And second important thing is, you even have got the same things again. Glial cells are there, right? And the third important thing is the blood vessels. The blood vessels are located. Okay. So these are some of the important things that are located. Now what we shall do is that we shall put all these things in the form of a picture. Okay. So let us say this is your cerebral cortex. Let us say that this is your cerebral cortex. What did I tell you? I told you that cerebral cortex has got two layers, right? The outer layer is consisting of which matter? The outer layer is completely consisting of the gray matter, right? And the inner layer is consisting of what? Inner layer is consisting of white matter. So outer gray matter and inner white matter is present. And outer gray matter is again consisting of some very important things. What are those important things? Let us start from here. First, it is having cell bodies. So let us draw the cell bodies over here. This is the cell body. Next, what it is having attached to the cell bodies, we have got dendrites. So attached to the cell bodies here, we have got such processes called as dendrites. These dendrites are also given another name. These are called as what? Neurites. Third important part, it is also having the initial part of the axon. Initial part of the axon in the sense, see, only this part of the axon is located. This is the initial part of the axon. Okay, so these are the three important things. Apart from what are the things we can also see here? We even see glial cells, we even see blood vessels, right? So where are these glial cells? See, these are your glial cells. There are multiple glial cells that are scattered all over where? All over your complete gray matter here. All over the cerebral cortex, the complete gray matter like this. Right? Now, apart from these glial cells, do we have any other thing? Yes, we even have got our blood vessels, right? See now, these are the blood vessels that are located here. So, let us just name all these parts over here. What are the important parts we have discussed so far? We discussed that these are called as your dendrites. These are called as your dendrites, and these are called as your glial cells. And these are called as your blood vessels. And next important thing is, what is this part called as? This part is called as the initial part of your axon, Now, next important thing is that if you go down, which means in the white matter, what are the structures you have got? You have got the remaining part of the axon or the nerve fiber, right? So let us see. Where is the remaining part? See, this is the remaining part of the axon or the nerve fiber. Okay. Now, after this remaining part of the axon or the nerve fiber, again you have got glial cells, you have got blood vessels. So let us see this glial cells and blood vessels. See now. So these are your glial cells like this. These are your glial cells, And in the same way, these are your blood vessels here. Okay. Now, one very important thing you need to know here is that the neurons, the axon which is located in the white matter is myelinated. You see this? The axon which is located within this white matter is myelinated. This is one very important thing you need to know. So let me also write it down here. This axon or whatever you see here is myelinated. Myelinated. So guys, what did we discuss over here? Now, whenever I tell about cerebral cortex, two important things you have to tell. Cerebral cortex is having an outer gray matter, right? And it is having inner white matter, outer gray matter and inner white matter. Outer gray matter is having what? Outer gray matter is having cell bodies. It is also having dendrites. It is also having what? Glial cells as well as blood vessels. Next, inner white matter. So this is white. This is the inner white matter. Inner white matter is consisting of what? What is this? This is called as your axon. And what kind of axon is this? This is called as myelinated axon. This is called as myelinated axon. So inner white matter is consisting of myelinated axon. Next, it is also consisting of glial cells again. It is also consisting of blood vessels. So these are the structures that are located in the inner white. Okay, so outer gray matter and inner white matter. So this is the entire story which I have to discuss in case of what? In case of your cerebral hemispheres. So within the cerebral hemispheres, this is how the in and out arrangement is present. Now, important thing you need to know is that why the white matter is white in color. The white matter is white in color. It is just because of the myelin sheath. Okay, it is just because of the myelin sheath that the entire white matter is white in color. If there is no myelin sheath, then the entire white matter will not be white in color. Okay. And second important thing you need to know is that, for example, if I take a neuron like this is a neuron. These are your dendritic processes, whatever it is, right? So let us say that this part over here is your myelinated neuron. Okay, this part over here is myelinated neuron. Now what I am doing is that I will make a cut section of this myelinated neuron and I will show it to you here. If I make a cut section, the center black one will be as an axon here. This is your axon. And surrounding this axon, what is this layer that is surrounding the axon? This layer is called as myelin sheath. You see how many layers of myelin sheath is located like this? These are all the layers of myelin sheath like this. And who is producing this myelin? Here you have got a very important cell. This is the nucleus of that cell and this is the cell that is located over here. You see the cell here? This cell over here is called as oligodendrocyte. And this oligodendrocyte will join with this and slowly start forming myelin like this. You see, oligodendrocyte is forming myelin. So, what is the name of this cell? This cell is called as oligodendrocyte. Oligodendrocyte. So, about this oligodendrocytes and squam cells, I have already discussed in very much detail in the previous lectures. So, please do watch that. So, this is oligodendrocyte and this is the nuclei of the oligodendrocyte. So, this oligodendrocyte synthesizes this myelin sheath. Myelin sheath around what? Myelin sheath around this central axon. And it is because of the myelin sheath, the matter is completely white. So, if there is no myelin sheath, then the matter would have not been white in color, right? So, this is one of the important things which you need to know. Second important thing, if you see, first of all, what I will do is that, see, second important thing I want to discuss here is that there are within the gray matter, there are some bands. So, there are some specific bands which you need to remember within this gray matter. So, what I will do is that I will draw the cortex, you know, this is your cerebral cortex, right? Right? So, let us say this is your cerebral cortex like this. This is your cerebral cortex. What I will do is that I will take, let us say I will take this part of the cortex and I will draw it here and then I will explain you one more important thing. Right, now this part guys, this part which I have just drawn in front of you, this part is your cerebral cortex. Okay, cerebral cortex, and these are all your gyri and sulci. So this part is your cerebral cortex, and all these things are your gyri and sulci. And this yellow color thing which I am drawing right now is completely what? This completely is your white matter. Okay, this yellow color shading is completely your white matter. Okay, then where is the gray matter over here? See, this is your gray matter. So this is your gray matter and this is your white matter. So let me write it down. So this part is your gray matter of the cerebral cortex, gray matter. Okay, and this is your white matter of your cerebral cortex. Now within this gray matter, I told you that there are some important bands. Now what are these important bands which you can see? See, within this gray matter, you have got one band which I am drawing like this. You see this white color band which I am drawing within this gray matter, right? So this band which I am drawing within this gray matter is nothing but called as what? This is called as inner band. Now another band I am drawing like this. So this band which I am drawing outside, outside to the inner band is what is called as your what? This is called as your outer band. This is called as your outer band. So there are two bands over here. See, this band over here is called as your, this band over here is called as your outer band, and this band over here is called as your inner band. Outer band, another one is called as inner band. Next important thing is that if you very closely observe, look at the outer band on the last part. Last part in the sense all the way from here till here. Look at the outer band. The outer band is thick. Yes or no? So this thick portion of outer band, which is located, actually this thick portion of outer band is located in your in the cortex, in the visual cortex. Where is the visual cortex? Your occipital cortex is your visual cortex. So exactly this thick outer band is located within your visual cortex, and this band is called as visual striae of Genari. Okay, what is this called as? Visual striae of Genari. Visual striae of Genari. What is basically this visual striae of Genari? Visual striae of Genari, where is it located? This visual striae of Genari is located within your visual cortex. Where is your visual cortex? Your visual cortex is located in the occipital lobe. So this is located in the occipital lobe of your cerebral hemisphere. Okay, so within this occipital lobe of the cerebral hemisphere, if you look at the gray matter has got white band, outer band and inner band, and the outer band is very thick, and this thick outer band you call it as the visual striae of Genari. Okay, this is done. Second important thing is that there is something called as outer band and inner band. I told you this is present throughout. So this concept of outer band and inner band, which is located within this gray matter, it is called as band of Bale-Archer. Okay, what is this called as? This is called as band of Bale-Archer. So this thing is called as band of Bale-Archer. So only two things you just need to remember here. What are those two things? One is called as what is band of Bale-Archer? Band of Bale-Archer is nothing but the outer band and inner white color band that is located in the gray matter of the cerebral cortex is called band of Bale-Archer. And what is visual striae of Genari? Visual striae of Genari is a specific outer band and inner band that is located in the occipital cortex. Why is this specific? Because outer band is much more thicker, so you call it as visual striae of Genari. Okay, so these are the two important things you need to know. Now apart from this, if you very closely observe the same picture which I have drawn here, within this white matter you see some dots. So these dots are the dots of the upper color, it means the gray matter. So it means I can tell you that there are some pieces of gray matter that are present in the white matter. Within this white matter is not purely white. Within the white matter, there are some pieces of gray matter that are present within this white matter. So these pieces or masses of gray matter which you can see within the white matter is nothing but called as basal nuclei. Okay, so the masses masses of gray matter in white matter is called as basal nuclei. Is called as your basal nuclei. Clear? Right. So far what did we discuss? We discussed about the arrangement of the gray matter and white matter in the cerebral cortex. So before we proceed on to the next part, that is cerebellum, we shall just revise the things what we have discussed so far. We discussed that cerebral hemispheres are two. It has got an outer cortex and inner part. So the outer part is having gray matter and the inner part is having your white matter. Next important thing, the gray matter is consisting of cell bodies. It is consisting of dendrites, neurites or processes, which dendrites are also called as neurites or processes. Okay, the same name. So where is, and it is also containing the initial part of the axon, not the entire axon, only the initial part of the axon. It has also got glial cells, blood vessels also. Okay. When it comes to the inner white matter is consisting of axons which are myelinated. Okay. That is why it is white. And it has got the glial cells, it has even got the blood vessels. You see this? So it has got dendrites like this, it has got the cell body, it has got the glial cells, blood vessels, and it has also got the myelinated axons. Right? So this is the gray matter outside and down white is a white. Now, next important thing you need to know, what is myelin sheath actually? Myelin sheath is formed, myelin sheath is a sheath of lipids, right? So this is formed by a cell called as oligodendrocyte. So next important thing is that if you look at the cerebral cortex, we have got two bands here. This band is called as the outer band and this band is called as the inner white band, right? So the outer white band and inner white band together you call it as band of Baillarger. Next important thing, in the cortical region, if you see, in the cortical region you can see that the outer band is much more thicker. So you call this as visual striae of Gennari. Okay, so these are the structures which we have discussed, and last important thing is pieces of gray matter or masses of gray matter are located within the white matter here. So these masses are nothing but called as your basal nuclei. So we are done discussing the cerebral hemisphere. Now after the cerebral hemisphere discussion, the next important thing we will discuss is cerebellum. Cerebellum. Okay. Now this cerebellum is having two important things. What are the two important things within the cerebellum? Again the same. It is having a gray matter, but we have to see whether it is outside or inside. Okay. It is having gray matter and it is also having white matter. So within the cerebellar hemisphere also, the gray matter is located outside. Outside in the sense, which cortex? Previously we called it as cerebral cortex. Now we have to call it as cerebellar cortex. Cerebellar cortex. And next we even have got white matter inside. So gray matter outside and white matter inside. Now if you look at the cerebral hemispheres, so this is your cerebral hemisphere from the side view. Okay. So from the lateral view, this pink color structure which I am drawing right now is your cerebellar cortex. Okay. And the remaining part is your white matter. Now, if I name these things, so this is the gray matter located in the cerebellar cortex. Okay. And this entire part in the center is called as your white matter. White matter. But again, another important thing is that pieces of gray matter. Gray matter is here, I have drawn it with the pink, right? So pieces or masses of gray matter that are located in the cerebellum. You see, some masses of gray matter are located in the central white matter. So these masses of gray matter which are located in the central white matter, these previously you called them as cerebral nuclei. Now we have to call them as cerebellar nuclei. So these are called as cerebellar nuclei. So these are called as your cerebellar nuclei, right? So this is one of the very important thing you need to know. So here we are done with the arrangement of gray and white matter in the cerebellum also. Now we shall switch on to the next most important thing, that is the brainstem. So in the brainstem itself, it is quite different. First of all, you have to know what is brainstem. Brainstem is comprising of what? Brainstem is comprising of what is this part, guys? This part is called as midbrain. After the midbrain, you have got what? You have got pons. After the pons, you have got what? You have got medulla oblongata. Right? So brainstem is actually consisting of midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata. So all these three things together, you call it as a brainstem, right? So first what we shall do is that we shall look at the level of midbrain, okay? So at the level of midbrain, this is how the picture looks. So I'm just drawing the rough picture here. These are your colliculi. I hope all of you know that. Right. So at the level of midbrain, the central duct which you have got is called as the cerebral aqueduct or aqueduct of Sylvius, right? This is the central canal which you know. Now here, the gray matter is located exactly here. So this is the piece of gray matter that is surrounding your duct. So can I call that this piece of gray matter is surrounding the cerebral aqueduct? So can I call this as periaqueductal gray matter or periductal gray matter, right? So, and the remaining part which is white is called as a white matter. So here two important things you can differentiate. What are these two important things is that this part is called as cerebral aqueduct. So surrounding the cerebral aqueduct, this gray matter, whatever you can see, is called as periaqueductal gray matter. So this one over here is called as periaqueductal gray matter. Now in this periaqueductal gray matter, two important things you can see. The center, do you have gray matter or white matter? Center here I have got gray matter and the remaining outside here is the white matter. But when it comes to your cerebral hemispheres as well as your cerebellum, outside you have got gray matter, inside you have got white matter. But here it is opposite. Inside you have got gray matter and outside there is white matter. Okay, so here what you need to know is that in the brainstem, outside you have got gray matter or white matter, you have got white matter. And inside what do you have got? Inside you have got the gray matter. Outside you have got the white matter and inside you have got the gray matter over here. Second important thing, next important thing over here is that pieces of gray matter is located within the white matter. You see, these pieces of gray matter which is located within the white matter, these pieces are not called as midbrain nuclei. Instead, they are called as cranial nerve nuclei. And by the way, guys, you have studied that the cranial nerves, right, all the way from the third cranial nerve till the 12th cranial nerve, they emerge from which point? Cranial nerves, they originate from which point? They originate from your brainstem. Yes or no? Cranial nerves, they originate from brainstem. What are cranial nerves? Cranial nerves are normal nerves. They also have cell bodies. They also have axons. So these pieces of gray matter which are located in the white matter, these pieces of gray matter are nothing but called as your cranial nerves. So these are called as cranial nerve nuclei. Cranial nerve nuclei. Okay. So what is this cranial nerve nuclei? Masses of gray matter in white matter. Masses of gray matter located in the white matter is called as your cranial nerve nuclei. Okay. So this is the arrangement which you see in case of the midbrain. Now let us see the arrangement which is present in case of the medulla oblongata. If you very clearly understood the concept in medulla oblongata, the topic which I have discussed in medulla oblongata, then it would be easy for you right now. So when I was discussing medulla oblongata, what did I tell you? I told you that medulla oblongata, let me put it up in this way. Right. So when I was discussing medulla oblongata, I told you if this is your medulla oblongata, right? So this view which you can see is the anterior view. And this view which you cannot see, which I can see, is the posterior view or the dorsal view. So this is the anterior view or the ventral view. So this medulla oblongata on the back side, if you see, it is different, and on the front it is different. On the back side, this medulla oblongata is divided into two portions. You see, this portion is called as the upper part of the medulla oblongata, and this part where I am holding is called as the lower part of the medulla oblongata. Now tell me, which part is open, which part is closed? Upper part is open here, right? V-shape opening is there, and it is a wide opening here, and lower part is closed. So the upper part is the open part, lower part is the closed part. Okay, and this canal which you can see here is called as the central canal. So can I tell that on the back of the medulla oblongata, on the this is a posterior surface. On the posterior surface of the medulla oblongata, the upper part, the central canal is exposed outside, and in the lower part, the central canal is closed. Yes or no? So what we'll do is that we will draw this section, and we will also draw this section and see what are the parts which are located. Where is the gray and where is the white matter over here? Okay. So in medulla oblongata has got two important parts. One is called as the open part of medulla oblongata. We even have got the closed part of medulla oblongata. So open part of medulla oblongata is the upper part, or you can also call it as the upper part of medulla oblongata. Closed part is also called as the lower part of the medulla oblongata. Lower part of the medulla oblongata. Now, when it comes to the open part, first what we shall do is that we shall discuss about the closed part. Okay, in the closed part, this is how the picture goes. So let me put this part over here. Yeah, this is closed and this is open. So first let us discuss about the closed part. This is the closed part. Now closed part is having a central canal, I told you, right? It is having a central canal. Now in the entire brainstem, guys, the same thing to follow. That is, inside what do you have? Inside what matter do you have? You have got gray matter, and surrounding is the white matter. So here also inside you have got this matter which you can see, right? So surrounding the central canal, this is what is called as your gray matter, and surrounding is completely white matter. So let me write it here itself, that this is the gray matter that is located inside, and this is the white matter that is located outside. White matter that is located outside. So gray matter is inside, white matter is outside. And next important thing is that there are pieces, you see, there are pieces of gray matter. Where are these pieces of gray matter located? You see pieces of gray matter that are located in the white matter over here. These pieces of gray matter which are located in the white matter like this, these are nothing but called as your nuclei. Again the same important thing. What nuclei? Cranial nerve nuclei. The same thing. This is also called as the cranial nerve nuclei. Okay. So this is the arrangement which you see in case of the closed part. Now what we shall do is that we shall look at the arrangement that is present in the open part. Okay. So what is the arrangement that is present in the open part? Open part or the upper part. Now you will just Now you will tell me how is the arrangement here, guys. So all of you just once again look at this model. So here in this upper part, one side is open. One side is open, but the other wall, you see the other wall is closed. What is this wall called as? Anterior wall, and this is called as posterior wall. So it means forward, anteriorly or ventrally it is closed, but posteriorly it is open. So can I tell that the central canal is completely exposed, right? How it is exposed? It is exposed in the form of this V-shaped opening here, right? So let us draw that thing over here and see. You see this? Now this is the part of the open part. Now this open part, I cannot draw the central canal. If I have to draw the central canal, it means that the upper part and the lower part is completely closed, right? So here, if you have attended my previous lectures on spinal cord, then there you will know that whenever you divide this part into two parts, the upper part is called as the dorsal and the ventral, this lower part is called as a ventral part. So in the model also I showed you that the ventral part is completely closed and the dorsal part is open like this, right? And this central canal is completely open. So that is the reason why you don't have any central canal. Actually, where is the central canal? This is the central canal actually. Okay, so this central canal is completely exposed, I told you. So here what you see is that you see pieces of gray matter shattered all over, right? So there is no central gray matter, or there is no gray matter outside, gray matter inside, or there is no gray matter inside or gray matter outside. Now by looking at this, you can understand that the gray matter and white matter, both of them are mixed. So can I tell there is mixture of both gray and white matter? Why there is mixture of both gray and white matter? Because there is no central canal here. You see the central canal is exposed on the top. So I have to write it down here as the central canal is exposed. Exposed what? Exposed dorsally. And here what you can see by this arrangement, you can tell that there is mixture of gray and white matter. There is mixture of gray as well as white matter. Why? Because there is no central canal. And this mixture of gray and white matter, these are again called as nuclei, cranial nerve nuclei, right? So these are also called as cranial nerve nuclei. So what have you discussed so far? I have discussed about midbrain, right? I have discussed about medulla oblongata. In medulla oblongata, I have discussed about the open part. I have also discussed about the closed part. Now I have to discuss about the pons. And remember one thing, same like medulla oblongata open part only, even in the pons also, there is mixture of both gray and white matter. There is no center gray matter, outer white matter, nothing like that. Okay, so even in the pons also, the gray matter, white matter, both of them, they mix together. So let me write it down. Even in the pons also, there is mixture of both gray matter and white matter. So there is mixture of both gray and white matter over here, right? Now in this brainstem, in this entire brainstem which I told you, right, about the cranial nerve nuclei, I have already discussed from where are they emerging and all. Though just for revision purpose, again I am telling you that in the brainstem, which starts all the way from the midbrain, pons and medulla oblongata, from the midbrain till the medulla oblongata, what cranial nerves start? Cranial nerves from 3rd to 12th pair of cranial nerves. 3rd to 12th pair of cranial nerves, they start within this brainstem. Okay, so this is the discussion which I have given to you already, right? Now the last important part we have to discuss is what? See, we are done discussing the cerebral hemispheres, the cerebellum. Cerebral hemispheres is done, cerebellum is done, the brainstem is done, and the last part is your spinal cord. And obviously all of you know that the way it is in the brainstem, the same way it will be in the spinal cord as well. So in the spinal cord, what is the arrangement? I have already discussed in a lecture of spinal cord, so that is why I am not going into much detail right now. So regarding the spinal cord, if you see, this is the central canal of the spinal cord, and so this is your spinal cord over here. Now in this spinal cord, this center part which I am highlighting right now, right? So this red color part which I am highlighting right now is nothing but called as your central gray matter. So this is your gray matter in the center. Gray matter in the center, and the outer white part is called as the white matter. Outer white part is called as your white matter. So this is the arrangement which you see in case of your spinal cord, right? So overall guys, what are the things we have just discussed? Let us just repeat it once again. So here we started a discussion with the cerebral hemispheres. In the cerebrum, we discussed that there is outer gray matter, another one is inner white matter. Okay, So outer gray matter and inner white matter over here. Gray matter is having what? Gray matter is having cell bodies, dendrites and the initial part of the axon. And next it is also having glial cells and blood vessels. White matter is having what? Myelinated axons. Okay, glial cells and blood vessels are located. By looking at this picture, it will be much more clear. Second important thing is that what are these oligodendrocytes? Oligodendrocytes are the cells that form the myelin sheath around the axon. Second important thing is this is the gray matter outside and inside the white matter. You can see some bands, white color bands, outer band and inner band. Together you call it as band of Basal. Next, as you go distally, I mean in the cortex, in the occipital cortex on the back, there the outer band is thicker in comparison with the inner band, right? So that you call it as visual stria of Gennari. Next important thing is pieces of gray matter that are located here are called as basal nuclei. When it comes to the cerebellum, the same thing. Next, when it comes to the brainstem, everything will reverse. In the brainstem, outside is not grey now, outside is white and inner is grey. And there are pieces of grey matter that are embedded within this white matter. These are called as cranial nerve nuclei. Right? In the medulla oblongata, you have got two parts. One is called as the closed part of the lower part. Another one is called as the open part of the upper part. Now, in this, again the same thing. But when it comes to the open part, here there is no central canal. Here there is mixture of both grey as well as white matter. Even in the pons also, there is mixture of both grey and white matter over here. Clear all of you? Right. Now, sir, why in pons there is mixture of grey and white matter? You told me that in the upper part, the central canal is exposed. There is no central canal here. That is why there is mixture of grey and white matter. But why in pons there is mixture of grey and white matter? The reason is that if you look at this picture, you will understand it clearly. See here, this is your midbrain. This part is your pons. This part is your medulla oblongata and continuing down is your spinal cord. And as all of you know that this is your cerebellum like this, right? So now what I will do is that let me just highlight this part. Now, if I highlight this part, now it will be easy for me to rub. You see now, there is a duct like this. Right. Now you see this continuing passage over here. You see in the midbrain, you have got a duct here. So this duct which is located in the midbrain is called as cerebral aqueduct. And cerebral aqueduct is continuing into this particular part. You see a wide cavity. What is this wide cavity called? This wide cavity is nothing but called as your fourth ventricle. Okay. And second important thing is that this fourth ventricle is in continuation with the central canal of the medulla oblongata. Right. Now, where is the upper part and where is the lower part here? See, this is the upper part and this is the lower part. Okay. So, if I am dividing it like this, see, this entire part is the upper part. Let me rub this out. Let me put up another color over here. Right. So, if you can see over here, see this part which I am highlighting is called as the upper part of your medulla oblongata. Okay. And this part which I am highlighting with the green is called as the lower part of medulla oblongata. So, the upper part, is it having any central canal? There is no central canal. So, you need to know here is that the upper part along with the pons, both of them, they don't have any canals. That is the reason why the grey matter and white matter are in the form of a mixture. But whereas in the midbrain and the lower part, they have a central canal. So that is the reason why centrally it is grey, outside it is white. Okay. So this is one of the very important thing which you need to know. So these are all some of the very important things which you need to know regarding the grey matter as well as the white matter, guys. So thank you so much for watching my video. Goodbye.